If a $100 parking lot tap could turn into a $5 million lawsuit, what could a real accident do to your bank account? Stay with me because I'll show you how a tiny oops becomes a financial bullseye and how to make yourself a very hard target. Hi, I'm the business guy, the CEO of the Lawyers Limited Law Firm. We're the largest law firm in the nation that specializes exclusively in asset protection, as well as our brand Asset Protection Planners. And for 34 years, I've lived in the trenches of lawsuit defense planning, and for nearly 30 of those, I've been setting up Cook Islands Trusts. In fact, we've set up more Cook Islands Trusts than any firm in the world. So if you care about keeping what you've built, you're in the right place. Quick ask, if you want more straight talk strategies like this, tap subscribe now if you haven't. It really helps the channel, so please check to make sure you subscribe right now. And selfishly, it lets me keep giving you the goods without the fluff. Okay, let's start with a story that sounds made up until it happens to you. A quiet Saturday, grocery bags, crowded lot, two cars back up at the same time. In fact, it just happened to my wife a few years ago. Tap, barely a scuff. The body shop estimate, right around $100. Everyone shrugs and says, we're fine, no police, no photos, because who documents a nothing burger? Now, fast forward almost 2 years. A process server knocks. This didn't happen to my wife, fortunately. The nothing is now a bodily injury claim with hundreds of thousands in medical specials and future care that sends the demand into seven figures. Yes, from a tap. So how does that jump happen? Three forces that show up again and again. Professional plaintiffs, some people collect accidents like airline miles. Each accident in 7 years isn't a coincidence, it's a strategy, a treatment on lien. In fact, in many places, plaintiffs' lawyers refer clients to providers who get paid only if the case pays. Prices go way up. Treatment bills stack tall, and the bill becomes a battering ram. Time. In a lot of states, plaintiffs have years to sue. Memories fade. Photos never existed. And what was a small tap turns into a battle over your life, your money, and your sanity. Okay, so was the $5 million demand real risk or smoke and mirrors? I'll tell you what juries actually do with these claims in a minute, and the two mistakes that make defendants lose even when they're right. Okay, now two things that turn small claims into big targets. Mistake number one, the apology. Okay, now it's human to say, I'm sorry. On video, in a police report, or in a later deposition, it gets turned into an admission of fault, so don't do it. You can be kind without confessing. Mistake number two, no documentation. No photos, no video, no email to yourself with details, no call to your insurer. When the story mutates 2 years later, there were 3 passengers, the seatbelt jammed, I had neck surgery last month. You're stuck without a record. Simple fix when anything happens or is claimed to have happened. Don't apologize. Be calm and courteous. Let's document this. Take photos and video, both cars, license plates, position in the lot, any skid marks. Note the people, how many in each car, names if they're willing, anything they say, I'm fine, no damage. Call non-emergency police if appropriate to create a record. And then email yourself right away with the time, place, weather, and what happened and what was said. Attach the photos. Notify your insurer or broker that same day. Even if you think it's nothing, start the file. So why so strict? Because the absence of data is the plaintiff's best friend. The presence of data is yours. Okay, just have lots of insurance, they said, when more becomes bait. Now, insurance is good. Lawsuits are worse. But too much visible coverage can become catnip for a shaky claim. Picture two drivers. Driver A has modest limits and a sensible umbrella. Driver B has loud coverage, massive limits, structured in a way that's easy to see. Guess which claim suddenly gets years of treatment, stacked diagnostics, and a life care plan projecting possible care into retirement? Hint, not driver A. Now, I'm not saying go naked. That's reckless. I'm saying right size your coverage with your broker and CPA. Often a solid primary policy plus a quiet umbrella in the $1 to $2 million range is appropriate for many families. So your situation may require more, but make it smart, not loud. All right, so they say, Kevin, if a big policy can invite trouble, what really stops a lawyer from going after my house, my rentals, my cash, my investments? Well, I'll give you the exact structure that we use for clients. Manager control during calm seas, trustee protection during storms. But first of all, what juries actually do and why you can still lose even when you're right. Now, here's the part that nobody enjoys hearing. You can win and still lose. Even if you beat the claim, you've paid the price. Time off work, stress that steals your sleep, and often higher premiums for years. In fact, I've seen defendants, good people, reasonable business owners, shutter a company because the litigation drug on and insurance shock swallowed their margins. And yes, juries do reject overblown claims. In fact, I've seen tiny impacts lead to defense verdicts or pennies on the dollar when the evidence doesn't match the story. But getting to that verdict can take years, and that's why we don't just fight lawsuits, we pre-plan so the other side sees a fortress and says, let's move on. I mean, after all, these contingency fee lawyers, these ambulance chaser attorneys, they're looking for easy targets, big juicy steaks. And if you look like you're a teeny tiny meal, they're not going to go after you with the vengeance they would the other guy. So that's what we talk about asset protection, the importance and the peace of mind that it gives you. So here's how to make yourself a hard target without becoming a hermit. So let's talk about practical, the things you can do right now this week. First of all, keep your name out of searchable records where you can. So title rental properties to land trusts. Have the LLCs as the beneficiaries of the land trust. So you have rental house here, rental house here, rental house here. Each one is owned by a separate land trust. That's what we do. And then we have the LLC as a beneficiary of each land trust. Avoid public breadcrumbs that scream, here's a high value defendant. Use a holding structure for the operating companies. In other words, each of these LLCs are in one holding company, like a Wyoming holding company is what we often do. Separate ops or operations risk, that is the business that you run that can be sued, from the assets that they use. So own your business equipment in a separate LLC from the company that you use to operate your business. Keep them separate. So when they sue this operating company, there's little to nothing that it owns because it's leasing it from your other LLC. Your van bumps a bumper, that shouldn't open a vault on your equipment or cash. Dash cams and building cameras, video wins. A $59 camera can save you $59,000 in headaches. For properties, preserve footage immediately when an incident is alleged. Teach your team a script. We'll document this. Are you okay? Let's call emergency services to make a report. No apologies, no admissions, professional, calm, right-sized insurance. Okay, next, sensible, primary, discreet umbrella. Work with a sharp insurance broker. Loud coverage attracts loud claims. The lawsuit vault, offshore protection done correctly. Now, this is the line between hoping your insurer wins and knowing your wealth is structurally shielded. So what does done correctly actually mean, and when does control shift to protection? So let's open the vault. Okay, let's talk about the offshore trust combo. So we put what's usually a trust, usually in the Cook Islands. That's the Cook Islands Trust. Okay, this is the usual structure, Cook Islands Trust. Inside the Cook Islands Trust, we put a Cook Islands LLC, Cook Islands south of Hawaii. It's in the same time zone as Hawaii. It's part of New Zealand, the most trusted trust jurisdiction in the world. So that goes inside the trust. This is where your money sits. This is where your investment sits. This is where your bank account sits. It's inside this Cook Islands LLC structure. So the bulk of your funds, not all your money, but the bulk of your funds sits inside of this in an international account. Hey, if you look up the safest accounts in the world, the 50 safest banks, guess how many of those 50 safest banks are in the U.S.? Guess. Just take a guess. Take a guess. one, and it's number 44 on the list. So there are a lot safer banks outside the U.S. than inside. It's very convenient with the online access and so on. That's what we do. We set up, we research the banks. We know which banks are the most favorable for our clients, so we can help with that. So here's the structure we build for clients with $1 million to $20 million plus in net worth who refuse to be easy targets. So at the top, again, is the Cook Islands Trust, the world's gold standard for lawsuit protection. We may also do this in Belize if you're already in a lawsuit, because Cook Islands isn't too fond of people taking on people in lawsuits. They'll do it sometimes, but usually we go to Belize if you've already been served. So again, inside the Cook Islands Trust, we put it in Cook Islands LLC, and you manage it day to day when the waters are calm. Here's you with your smiley face there. Okay, you're the manager of that LLC when waters are calm. Your accounts, your investments, direction is yours. You steer it. When nothing's wrong, you maintain manager control of that LLC. You move the money, invest, pay bills, just like you always do. No clunky hand raised for a routine life. Okay, when a threat appears, a lawsuit, a freezing order, an aggressive creditor, or a licensed bonded trustee company, a bunch of attorneys over here, that's a tie, and that's their smiley face there, they can step in to protect you. And this is a group of lawyers that form our trustee company, our law firm over in the Cook Islands. So our licensed bonded trustee company law firm, the one named on your trust, steps in temporarily to protect you. So that's the trigger. The trustee can deny foreign court orders, refuse to repatriate assets, and follow Cook Islands law. Not a courtroom in your hometown. So when the danger passes, the manager control goes right back to Mr. Smiley Face. That's you over here. Okay. So think of it like a sailboat with a storm mode. You're at the helm in sunny weather. When the storm hits, the autopilot engages with military grade settings and rides it out. So a question we get is, why not just a domestic trust? Because domestic courts control domestic trustees. That's the reason. If the judge can snap their fingers and force a U.S. trustee to hand over your assets, your shield is just drywall. They can punch right through it. Offshore, especially the Cook Islands and Belize, is different by design. And yes, like I say, we've set up more Cook Islands Trust than any firm in the world. We do this every day of the week, and nearly 30 of those years are experience that I have in forming Cook Islands Trust. And we've ironed out the details that really matter when it counts. We have expert attorneys on staff. We have the top minds in the offshore services world, and this is what we specialize in. So here's a real-world, anonymized case study that you can learn from. Case A, we'll call this the parking lot tap. It's a high-earning consultant, 2 cars back out at the same time. Small scuff, no report, demand letter, sales past $1 million with future care projections. We had already placed brokerage assets in a Cook Islands Trust and cash operating cushion in the Cook Islands LLC. Plaintiffs' counsel realized collection risk was severe, settlement demand deflated, client kept working, case resolved on nuisance terms. Lesson: document the scene, but more importantly, pre-position assets so the other side sees no jackpot. Case B, the premises pylon. It's a retail landlord with multiple centers, slip and fall, followed by assault by other guest, followed by lack of security. 3 theories, 1 goal: stack liability to reach the deeper pockets. Land and buildings were in LLC tiers, upstream to an offshore trust structure. Insurance counsel defended our structure meant that the top level equity wasn't the low-hanging fruit they had hoped for. Lesson: separate asset owning entities from operating entities. Layer smartly. Put the top tier behind laws that don't bow to local pressure. Case C, the personal brand problem. Doctor with a public persona. Nice home, lovely cars. It was a minor collision that morphed into a multi-year odyssey. Now, before we met, everything was in a personal name plus a jumbo umbrella, allowed on paper. So we retitled rentals to LLCs, moved liquid wealth into Cook Islands Trust with internal LLC, like we just illustrated. Overnight, the jackpot profile turned into a maze with dead ends. Negotiations changed tone. Lesson: success isn't the problem. It's visibility that's the problem. Okay, now here's what to do 60 minutes after any incident. Simple checklist. The first hour after a claim or alleged claim, That sets your trajectory. Safety first. Check for injuries. Call 911 if needed. Next, record the scene. Photos, video positions, plates, surroundings, and people. Get a report when appropriate. Police or property incident report. Collect neutral facts, time, location, weather, lighting, traffic conditions. And remember, like we said, no apologies, no theories, zip it. You're not the investigator or the confessor. Next, preserve evidence. If you have dash cam or building video, save it now. Email yourself a detailed summary with attachments. Notify insurance or your broker right away. Call counsel if the other side signals injury or you smell something a little off. If you're a business owner, train your team on this protocol. People default to apologies. Replace that instinct with a script. Okay, next, can they still find my money? Yes, unless you do this. Plaintiffs' lawyers do asset searches, public records, data brokers, social feeds, even your LLC filings. They connect the dots. And I mean, before a contingency fee lawyer takes the case, they're going to research to see what you have. They're going to know what assets you have before they take the case. If the dots spell big equity in personal name, expect pressure. If the dots lead into a trust LLC structure under Cook Islands law, that pressure collapses. But Kevin, do I lose control? Well, during calm seas, no. You manage the LLC in your Cook Islands Trust. You move funds, you make investments, you pay yourself. Only when there's legal heat does the trustee step in as required by the trust terms. So you're not asked to do the impossible, like violate a court order. That's the legal firewall that you want. You can't comply, the trustee won't comply, and the judge can't compel a foreign law firm outside their reach. Now, if you want to dig deeper, let's talk through your map. So you can go ahead and go to assetprotectionplanners.com, and that's where my team and I help you custom fit this for your life. Okay, next up, what jumps your risk the most and how to fix it fast? Now, here's the don't think, just do it list. Personally titled rentals. Fix LLCs and land trusts where appropriate, with upstream membership held by your trust. Operating company owns equipment and cash. Here's a fix. Split operating company and asset holding company. Lease assets back, like I said. The big look at me policy stack, fix it with a quiet umbrella plus sensible primary. No video, fix it. Get dash cams for your vehicles. Clear retention policy for properties. No offshore firewall, fix it. Get a Cook Islands Trust plus internal LLC. That's what we do with you as the manager in peacetime, a trustee in wartime. So do these and move from soft target to hard target in months, not years. Okay, here's the answer to the cliffhanger we left hanging out there just a little bit ago. Do juries buy the $3 million from a tap story? Sometimes juries see right through it. Sometimes they split hairs. Exacerbation for weeks. But here's the truth. You don't want your future decided by 12 strangers if you can help it. The better play is document, right size, pre-position assets so the other side never smells a jackpot. Cliffhanger number 2 answer. What really stops the land grab? Okay, an offshore trust in the Cook Islands with the internal LLC. The difference between turn over the money and we can't. Control when calm, you control it when calm, protection when not. And even when the trustee steps in, you can still go online, do your stock trades, see your account, and you can get the money anytime you want to, but your opponent at law cannot. So that's the storm mode most people don't have until they wish they did. Okay, so when does control shift? And the answer is when there's duress. Lawsuit filed, court orders, threats of contempt, or creditor trying to freeze you. Your trust says, now the trustee protects. The moment the storm clears, the manager control flows back to you. You live normally, and it sits ready to protect you for the next lawsuit. So you want to keep this in place during your lifetime. So most people who are sued once are sued again. So you want to keep this in place for a lifetime. So if this was useful, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Please do that right now. Check to make sure you're subscribed, and please click that button. I'd really appreciate it. We keep it practical, short on hype, long on results. And if you're thinking, Kevin, I want a map for my situation, go to assetprotectionplanners.com. My team builds these structures every day for business owners, doctors, real estate investors, people with something to lose and no interest in becoming a target. So a $100 tap should never cost you $5 million or your peace of mind for that matter. So document everything, don't confess, right-size your insurance, and move your wealth behind laws that protect it when you need it most. I'm the business guy and the CEO of the Lawyers Limited Law Firm and Asset Protection Planner. So thanks for watching, and here's to keeping what you've built.